And what's so exciting is it basically saved the aquarium because it's very expensive to maintain it. It wasn't very popular. We're all worried that it would be, they would get rid of it. And I think what's so exciting to use our characters to save something that's very, very special.
Yeah, one of the funny things that happened in install during the installation of that was there was the rock work outside in the tank. And one of the guys inside the ride track area when we were having the Nemo characters there had a laser pointer and was pointing at, over there and over there, and the laser pointer went out into the tank to the rock work, and all the real fish went.
I was going to say that was also a really good example of something that our R&D folks were working on, ideas of technology, and they did this fairly crude mock-up of a big aquarium with a piece of glass and all kinds of different things, and we did many, many iterations, but that inspired this idea of, wow, wouldn't it be cool to see the Nemo characters in with real fish? And we said, the living seas, hello, perfect place. So that's really what got the ball rolling, because I remember on the whole idea of the conversion.
Well, Kevin, there was another big conversion that inspired you.
Finding Nemo sucks. That was sure to happen ultimately, but in March 2003, I took my family to the Irvine Spectrum, and we saw the Ghost of the Abyss with the submarines and went down to see the real Titanic. And at that time, Submarine Voyage was down, and Tony Baxter was working on several different ideas for that. And I always think about the subs too. It was one of my favorite rides as a kid. And as we were leaving the theater after watching that, I was thinking about the Submarine Voyage, and just then, a couple of guys were coming in with a lobby display of Marlin and Dory and Bruce, the shark. And it was like, that's it. So it's really quickly did a bunch of really quick little sketches on 3x5 cars, and Marty Sklar's office was just a couple of doors down from mine. And on Monday morning, I just pulled him into the office, and he said, "Get with Tony." So it went very, very quickly, and we got with you guys, and it was an amazing. It was bound to happen anyway, but it was just a fantastic idea. I mean, there was a marriage made in heaven. The Nemo characters with the Submarine Voyage.
It was funny the fact that the first really full-on pitch that you and Tony gave to Andrew and Liz and I, which was in the Innovations building downstairs. There's a conference room. I thought that was so cool. And walking through the whole thing, and Tony was pitching through the whole sequence of it, and Andrew goes, I think when I came up with Nemo, which is this journey going through all these different things, I think I was just cribbing the submarine ride. And I realized that just that kind of flow of this journey was so perfect, exactly what the submarine ride did. This poster is really lovely. Ralph Eggleston, who was the art director on Nemo, when he heard that we were going to redesign the entire submarine voyage, Nemo said, "I want to do the poster." Aren't you really busy designing Wally? I'm doing the poster. And he told us it had to be done November 1st, and I think we got it to April 15th.
He did it during the Christmas holiday.
Yeah, he did it on weekends at home during Christmas.
He called me on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
He was like, I just want you to know I'm working on the poster. Stop working on it. This is the only time I can do it. I'm like, okay.
This was really kind of, I think we had collaborated on a number of projects, but this is when really the Pixar theme park group kind of solidified, because this was really such an intense collaboration between Pixar artists and Disney artists. These two are great. I don't know, Kathy, do you want to talk about that?
Well, the woman in the yellow shirt is Susan Dane, and she was our production designer on Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage, and she came up with this marvelous technique of painting the coral, the underwater coral, in the lagoon using shards of glass, little pieces of recycled colored glass. We got wonderful, wonderful color out of it that will last much, much, much longer than your traditional paint job. But the other woman that she's with is Robin Cooper, and Robin was she production designer on the film?
She was one of the art directors.
Art director on the film. An absolute expert in coral and coral design, and she came down with us while we were in production and helped us sculpt the coral for all the sets. And then here she is out for installation. And in fact, she helped us in Florida too. She is our coral guru for anything we do. So it's a fantastic collaboration. You see, they got along very well.
I just love that we got that Darla out there, and this was actually one of I think the first time that we took digital data, we posed Darla in our computer, and actually the WDI model shop used a computer milling technique to take our digital data and create the head of Darla directly from data.
Yeah, and that really started us on this process because we're using the same process for Cars Land for Radiator Springs Racers. So we're getting files directly from Pixar, from the folks that designed these characters, and they're coming to us, and we're using them. So it's really, really great. But Darla was the first.
Yeah, the subride to me was I mean, just, growing up and going to the subride and that feeling of being a little kid, just sitting there putting your face by the porthole and the cool air coming out and all like that, and just looking out and seeing the stuff. And it was so exciting to be able to come through and then see the animated characters kind of blended in with the sets in there. And it's I think that it was a really, Roger, you should talk about, Roger directed the animation of that, and it was so challenging because there were so many, in some of those sets, there's so many screens at all different angles and different levels.
Well,
trying to figure out how the characters would go from one screen to another was really
If you guys have seen the exhibit on the floor, you see around Cars Land, you'll see that we do a lot of virtual simulations of the ride experiences now. And it's something Imagineering has done an incredible job on and allows us to ride the attractions years before they're actually built. Poor Walt had to put his eyes down to the edge of the table. But we had a simulation of the submarine attraction, and we've been watching it from their 20 portholes, from the first porthole. And we were storyboarding as we traditionally do, and there was a virtual model of the whole ride, and we were watching from that first porthole and figuring out, well, what are the characters doing and saying. And we're like, feeling pretty good about it. Like, I think we're ready to go into animation production. And I forget who, but someone said, maybe we should look at it from one of the other portals. Well, that's kind of a funny idea. All right, sure. Let's go to porthole number 5. It's like, so Marlon was saying, Nemo, where are you, Nemo? And, poor Dory over there, like, who are you looking for? Who's Nemo? Then it's like, okay, that's portal 1. But portal 5, it was already over here. Nemo, where are you, Nemo? Oh, who's Nemo? I was like, oh, it's funny. You can kind of see the animation. So portal 10, 1 goes by, 5 goes by. And like, Nemo, I can't see it. And portal 15 and 20, like, blank screen. Oh my God, we forgot. And so we literally had to go back and redesign every single moment in the attraction. Go, wait, these characters are just in the few seconds that one person's passing. We're in the almost a minute that the entire submarine takes to pass a point in space, because you're literally traveling in your submarine looking out at those fish in space. So it took another 6 months of design. Whoops! And
I was going to say, elaborate on that, is that virtual reality set was our lifeline for when we discovered this. And each animator, we had, I think, 17 animators on it. Each animator had that VR as a tool at their desk, so they could kind of see where their scene came and where their fish left. And it was, and we looked at dailies every day to, so it was an amazing tool that Imagineering provided us with early on in the process. We couldn't.
It was so great. Normally when we review animation, we look at it on a screen, just like you'll see it in the movie theater. And here, we would look at it, we called it flat. We looked at the whole minute of animation. We said, okay, let's look at window 1, window 5, window 10, 15, and 20. And different scenes. Oh, window 15 is really great in this scene. Oh, this window 5, this is a killer window 5. So you should definitely go back and ride all 20 scenes.
It's one of the things that actually I think in Imagineering now that we talk about a lot is the making these attractions and these rides something that every time you ride them, that you get a different experience and to make it so that it's not the same every single time. And I think the subride is one to really, because you don't have too much control over where you sit, but if you do ride it from any one of those windows, you are getting a different show. It's really fascinating.
I wanted to add that Liz, with the 17 animators at Pixar, every time Liz and Roger came down and brought the 17 animators to meet with us, it was hard to keep them there working on the project because they were always over at Buzz Lightyear trying to improve their score.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. We were working in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden, like 5 people would be gone. I'm like, where are they? And they're like, they're next door.